Well, we've done it. There should be some confetti or something going on, but I don't have any. We've made it to a pretty big milestone. 1 year so far, owning a NIO, and all of you guys have been here with me on this journey because you're interested in NIO or you own stock in NIO or whatever the case may be. But we've done it. We made it together. Easy's here with me today, and yeah, I've had my NIO for exactly 1 year as of today. Let me just say that it's been one hell of a journey, one hell of a ride, and I'm very grateful and thankful for all of you guys who have been here with me on this journey. In today's video, I'm going to give you a total rundown of 1 year with the NIO EC6. I would also like to direct your attention over to Mr. P's channel. He's also done a 1 year rundown of his first year with his NIO. So after you watch my video, make sure you follow the link that's in the description and go check out his video if you haven't seen that yet. In my video today, I'm going to be giving you a holistic look at the entire NIO ownership experience, because for a lot of NIO users, you might already be aware that it's more than just owning a car, it's a NIO lifestyle. So let's briefly take a look at the car itself. To be honest, I love it more than ever. After spending an extensive amount of time with the car, I've been able to get it set up exactly how I like it. I have my packing routine down for road trips. I even have my Nomi set up with a new outfit just in time for baseball season. Everything about the car is just great, and it continues to get better with time due to frequent over-the-air updates. I made videos about what I love and what I hate about the car when I first got it, and for the most part, those things haven't changed. If you haven't seen those videos, the links are in the description. Feel free to check it out, again, after this video. The only real problem I've encountered so far is the slowing down of the operating system. However, soon I will be able to replace the chip, and that should alleviate that problem. When it comes to how the physical components of the car have held up, it remains in pretty much perfect condition. The seats, the leather, everything look almost as good as new. Obviously, there's some normal wear and tear from using the car extensively over the past year. The only issue I've encountered is kind of like the rubber things where the doors meet the body of the car. They've begun to fade, and I've talked to other NIO owners, and they've also encountered this problem, and they've told me that it's covered under warranty. NIO offers a lifetime warranty, and they've told me that you can get it fixed and replaced for free, and it's a known issue. And that's the only part of the materials that I've seen that have deteriorated when they shouldn't have. Other than that, I have no problems, no complaints at all with the materials or the build quality of the car. It has held up pristine over the course of 1 year and traveling all over China. And speaking of traveling all over China, in the 365 days that I've owned my NIO EC6, I have driven, let me check, 32,435 kilometers. This amounts to an average of 88.8 kilometers per day, and the farthest that I ever drove in 1 day was 1,019 kilometers. Of those 32,435 kilometers driven, 8,840 kilometers were driven in NIO Pilot, aka NIO's version of Autopilot. One really cool thing about owning a NIO is the app tracks a whole lot of data. So China is organized in kind of an odd way. There are various ways to count the provinces. They might be organized as municipalities, special administrative regions, or autonomous prefectures. If you look it up online, you might see there's 22, 23, or even 34 provinces. To make it easy for you, I visited 22 out of 34 recognized provinces or regions in China last year in my NIO EC6. The NIO app also keeps track of where you've been. They have an opt-in program called Light Up China with points of interest. According to the app, my NIO has driven past 410 points of interest and through 61 different cities. Now, I'm not even closest to the top 10 of NIO users. The NIO user who has lit up the most locations has visited 2,893, and the bottom of the top 10, that user has visited 1,091 points of interest. So maybe next year, if I can do 600 or 700 points of interest, I can reach the top 10. Funnily enough, NIO also sent me a kind of a recap and congratulations on 1 year with NIO. And on that notification through the app, it told me that I visited 129 cities in China. So Light Up China doesn't light up every city in China. I've actually been to quite a few more cities than the Light Up China opt-in program tracks. Let's take a look at powering up my car. In my first year owning a NIO, I charged my car 97 times. That's 87 times with fast chargers and 10 times with slow chargers. I also swapped my battery 48 times. During the first 3 months that I owned my car, I only swapped my battery 6 times, while I charged my battery 56 times in the first 3 months. In the most recent 3 months that I've owned my NIO, I swapped my battery 18 times while charging 29 times. So why the discrepancy? First, when I bought my car, there were only around 200 swap stations in total nationwide across China, as opposed to almost 900 as of today. One of the first things that I did when I got my car was I went on a nearly 2-month-long road trip. You might remember that. Now, at the time, the swapping network was not really built out as much as it is today. And I also went to a lot of pretty remote places. So I had to rely on the public charging infrastructure a lot more than the NIO Power Swap network. During that trip, I also utilized the mobile Power Swap van 3 times, but more on that later. So let's take a closer look at the Power Swap network. A year ago today, there were only 6 total swap stations in Shenzhen. As of today, there are 34 in Shenzhen City. And in the Shenzhen region as a whole, there are now 48 battery swapping stations. Now, in case you don't know, Shenzhen City has approximately 12 million residents. And of those 12 million, there were just about 10,000 NIO users as of January 1st, 2022. I know because I asked the head of NIO Shenzhen in January. Well, now it's mid-April, and we are probably looking at least 11,000 or more NIO users registered in Shenzhen. With 34 stations in Shenzhen City and 11,000 NIO users, that works out to about 1 battery swap station per 324 users. Now, forgive me if any of these numbers are wrong, because I'm very bad at math. But let's break it down a little bit. Depending on when you purchased your car, you either have unlimited swaps, 6 free swaps, or 4 free swaps each month. If we say that the average user here in Shenzhen swaps their car, let's say 5 times per month, with 11,000 users, now that's 55 swaps per month. If a month has, let's say on average 30 days, that's 1,833 swaps per day that NIO is doing in Shenzhen alone. Now we divide that number by 34 swap stations in Shenzhen City, and we are looking at about 54 swaps per day per station on average. So let's take a look at the 2 closest battery swap stations to my home in Shenzhen. The closest one to me is about 3 kilometers away, and it is a version 1.0 station. Despite being an older station, version 1.0, I've never once had to wait for a swap here. NIO provides data in the app about the usage rate of each battery swap station. We can look at yesterday's battery swap rate as well as last week's average hourly battery swap rate. So let's look at the chart for last week. The busiest time at this station was the 4 o'clock hour. They averaged 6 swaps per hour last week between 4 and 5 p.m. From 5 p.m. until 11 p.m., they average about 2 swaps per hour. And midnight until early morning, they're pretty much dead. They don't do any swaps, or maybe 1 per hour. So if we take this as a typical power swap station, version 1.0, in a tier 1 city, it looks like they probably do 30 to 40 power swaps per day. Now let's take a look at the second closest battery swap station to my house. This one is a version 2.0 station. This station is quite a bit busier, especially during peak daytime hours. During this time, they seem to do about 10 to 13 battery swaps per hour. I've been to the station 3 times, and the longest that I waited was for 1 full swap and 1 partial swap ahead of me, which amounts to about 10 minutes of waiting. You can see that this station is highly utilized, but the demand curve is similar to the last one, without much business during the late night hours. A version 2 battery swap station can theoretically do 312 battery swaps per day. However, a busy station like this looks like it does upwards of around 100, maybe 120 swaps per day, but almost none overnight. I wouldn't be surprised if they add another power swap station in the neighborhood very soon, especially as the ET7 and the ET5 and maybe the ES7 begin to roll out in mass quantities. Stations like this one are going to be completely overwhelmed during the day, and it shows you why NIO is targeting 1,300 stations by the end of this year. They will be very necessary very soon. So what is the waiting time like on average at battery swap stations? It might come as no surprise that when there were fewer stations and version 2.0 had not yet rolled out, the wait times were usually longer. The longest that I ever had to wait at a swap station to swap my battery was my very first battery swap. I have a video up from that day that you've probably already seen. It is my most watched YouTube video of all time. In that swap, I waited for 2 cars ahead of me at a version 1.0 station. I waited about 13 minutes for my turn. In total, it took about 20 minutes to get my battery swapped, from arrival to departure. Since that time, I have never had more than 2 cars ahead of me, or if I did, they always put me in first because I had a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack, and the other cars were waiting on full 70 kilowatt hour battery packs. This for me has been one huge advantage of choosing the 100 kilowatt hour pack. There are almost always batteries available because most users choose 70 kilowatt hours. One other thing that I suppose I should mention is that I can very easily decide when to go and swap my battery. I don't need to drive in rush hour and try to get my battery swapped at the same time as everyone else because I don't have a set work schedule. I also have a swap station about 5 minutes drive from my house, so if it's around 11 a.m. for example and I see that there is a full battery, I can very easily pop on over there and get it while there's nobody in line. Other people may live farther from a swap station, or they're less flexible with their time due to their work or other obligations. They may deal with longer wait times than me. Also, some stations do close down. You may remember my video from Hangzhou when the swap station staff went on a lunch break and I had to wait about 30 minutes. There was one other time in Hainan province when the staff took off for a break and I ended up just using a fast charger instead of waiting. I, of course, support the staff being able to take breaks, and I'm not complaining about that in any way, shape, or form. Overall, I wish that I took notes and collected the wait time data, but the majority of my 43 swaps had either zero waiting time or only one car ahead of me, resulting in wait times of approximately 5 or 6 minutes. I also used the mobile charging service 3 times out of the 6 free uses that every NIO user gets annually. I put their mobile charging service to the test in Inner Mongolia, Ningxia, and Qinghai, 3 provinces in the rural northwest part of China. Twice, it was in somewhat of an emergency situation in the sense that I had not planned ahead to utilize the mobile charging service. One time, I did plan ahead, and NIO helped me to arrange a route, a time, and a place for us to meet to charge the car, way out in the middle of nowhere in the desert. You can also see videos from each of these experiences linked in the description. If I had to make a bet, I would say that their mobile charging service will be phased out, or at least they won't be offering 6 free rescues annually as they continue to increase their power network all around China. You probably also know that I signed up for NIO Worry-Free service, and that includes comprehensive insurance, as well as a range of other benefits. It also includes 35 coupons for extra services, like car washes, designated drivers, airport valet, and so on. In the past year, I used 14 of my 35 coupons. 2 times were for designated drivers, and 10 times were for car washes. The other 21 unused coupons will be automatically redeemed for 500 NIO points each. That will be 10,500 NIO points that will be added to my account in the next few days. Speaking of NIO points, I currently have 7,687 points as of right now. You get points in a variety of ways, but primarily from A, buying a NIO, B, referring friends to NIO, C, checking in daily on the app, or D, leaving reviews or other content on the app. I haven't referred anyone, unfortunately, so pretty much all of my points have come from the other ways. If you manage to continue your daily check-in streak for certain milestones, say 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 100 days, 365 days, you are randomly given a prize. My biggest daily check-in bonus was 666 points, which I earned when I checked in on day 365. You can see some of the potential random prizes on the screen now. If you want to know the exchange rate for NIO points, 1,000 points is 100 RMB or approximately 16 US dollars. So after I get my coupons redeemed for more NIO points, I will have about $270 worth of NIO points to spend on NIO products. And speaking of NIO products, over the past year, I've bought a lot of products on the NIO Life store. I have bought 3 pairs of shoes, a 6-pack of beer, 2 bottles of wine, indoor slippers, a wok, instant coffee, a jacket, a puzzle, a mesh shade for the sunroof, a tent, some snacks, and a Model ES8. NIO has also kindly gifted me another tent, a camping table and chair set, 2 backpacks, a flashlight, and a hammer to break the window of the car in case of flooding. Now, holy crap, that's a lot of NIO product. But there is even more that came my way thanks to NIO. As you know, I went to quite a few NIO houses, and at those NIO houses I got gifts such as air fresheners, instant coffee, magnets, and pens. Again, the description on this video has links to some of those videos featuring NIO Life products. I visited 22 NIO houses. You may have seen quite a few of them in various videos. At every NIO house that I visited, I tried the exclusive signature drink. I used my NIO points to buy NIO house drinks, or on occasion, I was given the drink for free as a NIO user from out of town. The best drink in my opinion was the cold brew coffee with cheese top and Shanghai Tower, or perhaps the bayberry drink with cheese top and Suzhou. Obviously I like the cheese tops. My top 3 NIO houses in terms of design, location, convenience, total package were Chongqing, Hangzhou Westlake, and Jiaxing. I'm looking forward to visiting the NIO house in Oslo, hopefully this year, 2022, and other global NIO houses in the coming years. Hello Berlin, hello San Francisco perhaps. I think I've seen enough of them in China if I'm being totally honest with you. Now, one thing that doesn't get shared a lot by a lot of NIO users on YouTube, that I've seen anyway, is NIO events. I'm guilty of it as well. NIO has tons of events. Every week in China, every city, NIO arranges events for users to take part in. These are a great way to meet other NIO users. They help to build a strong community and they introduce you to new people and also new hobbies. Some take place at the NIO house, or some are out and about around the city. Some even are traveling with NIO or camping events. I took part in 4 types of events in Shenzhen during the past year, including ultimate frisbee, basketball, baseball, and a coffee tasting event at the NIO house. I also attended 2 grand openings at NIO house, one in Shenzhen and one in Guangzhou. And the most exciting event that I took part in was track day. I was lucky enough to be able to get to ride in the EP9 on the F1 track in Zhejiang province on NIO Track Day 2021. Riding in the EP9 was a mind-blowing, incredible experience, and check out videos from track day, once again, linked in the description if you haven't seen those yet. Man, NIO really offers tons of stuff, but I'm not even done because a couple of months before I got my NIO, I went to NIO Day in Chengdu, where they first announced and launched the ET7. At that time, I could have never anticipated what would happen after I took delivery of my NIO. In addition to everything that I already mentioned in this video, I also got to attend NIO Day in 2022 in Suzhou, where they launched the ET5. During this event, NIO featured me as one of their user stories. That means that I got to work alongside NIO in developing my story, and then NIO flew me to Shanghai where we did some filming, and then they took me off to Gansu province again where we filmed my story and brought it to life for a short film, also linked in the description. This was probably the highlight of the year and the highlight so far of my NIO ownership experience. But as you can see, this entire year was just absolutely packed with fun and adventure and stories for me to remember and maintain and cherish for the rest of my life. So yeah, as you can see, there's so much more to NIO than just, selling cars. They're more than just a car company. And my biggest takeaway from this crazy year with NIO is just how much that you can do simply by being a NIO user. There are so many ways to interact with the NIO community. And the great thing about it is you can do as little or as much of it as you would like. From attending events in your local community to meeting users all across the country, and hopefully soon worldwide, you can make what you want of the NIO experience. So sometimes people say that NIO users are brainwashed, they're part of a cult, and I have to admit, I even thought that maybe there was some truth to that when I first started talking to NIO users over a year ago. Also, those interviews are linked in the description. Those guys, they seem so in love with the company. Not just their car, but the company itself. It took me a while, but I will admit that as the year went on, I began to really understand them. Owning a NIO gives you some pretty unique opportunities to form real-world connections with real people. Forming real-world, offline relationships and communities can be quite difficult in this day and age. Having these kind of experiences and relationships and opportunities, it's important and it's valuable. It might be a tad bit idealistic of me, but I think that a goal for NIO as they expand globally should not just be to form communities in each country that they sell their car. What I mean by that is not just a Chinese community of NIO users and a Norwegian community of NIO users, but I think that they should try to form a global community of NIO users. A community that is positive and very well connected, just like in China. I can't help but think about how cool it would be that, for example, while traveling in Norway, I could go on the app and sign up for a local activity there. Again, for example, sign up for maybe a basketball pickup game with the local NIO users. And then afterwards we could grab a pint, have a drink, and well, we won't create world peace, but we will build friendly connections the world over. And that can't be anything but a positive development in the long run. So that's my year with NIO. I'm excited to see what year 2 will bring. I would love to hear your thoughts on it in the comments below. So leave a comment, make sure you like, subscribe, do your thing, you know what to do. And no matter where you are, before you go and sign up for a test drive of NIO, scan my QR code and let me get some NIO points. Take care. See you next year.